Hello everybody, welcome back to Reading for Vocabulary. Are you ready to continue talking about our subject of sports? Well, we're on lesson 4, the human machine. The human machine, it's like people are machines, right? Think about some famous athletes that you know, right? Like Park Ji-sung or Park Tae-hwan, right? The swimmer. They're like machines in the water or on the soccer field, right? How do they get to be such strong athletes? That's what we're going to focus on. How can someone become a great athlete? Well, of course, it's going to take a lot of hard work, right? But in the reading passage, we'll take a look at how someone becomes a great athlete. And if you want to become a great athlete, what can you do to become a great athlete? So we're going to take a look at that. But first, as always, let's take a look at the vocabulary. So our first vocabulary word is someone who plays a sport. We just talked about that, right? How can someone become a great what? What is this person? She is running. She is an athlete. She's an athlete. Okay, so pronunciation, athlete. If you compete in a sport, and that's like your, not just your hobby, but also sometimes your job, you're an athlete if you play sports well and you do it a lot. Okay, the ability to do something. The ability to do something, like if you have the ability to create such a beautiful sandcastle, right? We can say you have a lot of skill. Of course, athletes need skill, right? But also many other types of people need skill. Artists need skill. Engineers need skill. Lawyers need skill. Skill is something, it's an ability that you develop either through training, through practice, through study, but it's a skill. What kind of skills do you have, for example? Okay, number 3. Here's a signpost, right? The measure of space between two things, right? Buenos Aires is 7,270 kilometers that way. So when we measure the space between two things, we're talking about the distance, how far something is away. So from me to Buenos Aires or me to Busan, right? What is the distance? How many kilometers or how many miles, right? Okay. Next one, after some time. So when we look at this, what is this, by the way? This is a tadpole. Now, later on, this tadpole, we know, maybe you know, what will it become? It will become a frog, right? Ribbit, ribbit, okay? So, but it will take some time. Eventually. Eventually means after a certain amount of time, usually kind of like a long time. This tadpole is not going to become a frog right away. It's going to take some time. Eventually, the tadpole will become a frog. Eventually, young children will grow up to be adults. It'll take some time, but eventually it will happen after some time. Okay. Number 5, repeating something so you get better at it. Now, your English teacher probably always tells you this. What do they say? They say, practice, practice, practice. Okay? It's not just English. Piano, right? If you're learning to play a musical instrument, whether it's a piano, a trumpet, or whatever, you have to practice. If you're playing a sport and you want to get better at it, what do? You practice. So any skill, remember we talked about skills. Skills are abilities. How do you improve your ability? You practice. Whatever it is, you practice, you get better at it. So do it again and again, repeating it so that you get better at it. Okay, next one, number 6. Equal and even. If something is equal and even, we say it is balanced, right? It is perfectly balanced because it's equal and it is even on both sides. It's balanced. Sometimes, well, a little bit different idea, we can also say it's fair. If two soccer teams are playing, one team has 12 players, the other team has 8 players, it's not balanced, it's not fair. So both teams have to have 11 players, and that's a balanced team. That is a fair competition. Okay, next one, 7. Done all the way. So if something is finished, or if all the things are in place, we say that it is complete. Or something is done all the way, something is finished, a process. You can think about complete in different ways. In this case, we're thinking all the tools are in a set, or everything is together, it's complete. But you can also think about a painting. When the painting is finished, we say it is complete, it's finished. Okay. 8. Now this is very interesting, isn't it? This is how a butterfly comes out of the cocoon. Remember, before it was a caterpillar. So a caterpillar changes into a new state, into a butterfly. What do we say? We say becomes. A caterpillar becomes a butterfly. A caterpillar becomes a butterfly. A child becomes an adult. A tadpole becomes a frog. And become is an irregular verb, so we say become, became, become. Okay? Become, became, become. It's interesting that this is the same as the present tense, right? The past perfect. Okay. Next one, 9. There are many books here. Italy, Turkey, Beijing, Mexico, India. What are these books about? They tell you how to do something. They tell you how to travel through Italy. They tell you how to travel through Mexico. What is it? It is a guide. These books are guides to different cities. But a guide can be many different things. A guide can be a book. A guide can be a person, right? If you're on a tour, there's a tour guide who tells you and shows you the different places and how to look at them, or how to think sometimes about these places, or what to know. So a guide can be many different types of things. It shows you how to do something. A guide could also be an instruction manual. You get a computer and you need to, how do I, hook up all the cables? You look at the guide. Okay. 10. Oh, very famous, right? Vitamin water. Don't say vitamin, that's Konglish. Vitamin water. Do you drink it? Sometimes I drink it. I like this one here. Okay, that's my favorite. Anyway, an important mineral for your body, because these products have vitamins, which are minerals for your bodies. Vitamin, I just said it, right? But there's a name right here, vitamin water. Say vitamin, not vitamin, that's wrong. Vitamin. Okay, that's the pronunciation for an important mineral for your body. You need vitamin C. You need vitamin D. Your skin needs vitamin E, right? So all these different vitamins help your body do different things. Very important for you. Number 11, this is not so important for you. We like it, it's delicious, but unfortunately, it's not important for our bodies. Having a lot of sugar is sugary. A lot of candy, and this is like gummy candy. Of course, it's very sugary. Chocolate has a lot of sugar in it. Hard candy, all very sugary treats and snacks. So be careful of those. Our body doesn't need them. It's not very important for our body, especially our teeth. Got to be careful, 조심해요. Okay, next one. 12. Happening many times over a time period. If you're using a computer, you're probably hitting certain keys again and again. You're hitting them very often. So you hit certain keys very often, like the enter key or the space bar. You hit that very often. Okay. Next one. Oh, what is he? He's a juggler, right? To throw and catch many things at once, we say juggle. This is the verb to juggle. He is juggling. We can call him, what is his name? He is a juggler, right? The person is a juggler. If he's doing it, we say he is a juggler. What is he doing? He is juggling. To juggle is the verb, okay? To throw and catch many things at once. Can you juggle? Can you do that? If you want to develop that skill, that ability, you have to practice. Okay, next one. 14, yay, that looks like fun. Can you water ski? Maybe you go to Gapyeong, Yeah, Gapyeong, and you go water skiing. I used to do that a long time ago, but my friends who do that, they all left. I'm sad. If you want to go water skiing, call me. Okay, I'm just kidding. Okay. Very amazing, right? Very amazing if he can do that. Incredible. Wow, really incredible. Amazing. So if he can do this, if he can jump, wow, that's incredible. Amazing, right? Okay, next one. This is also incredible and amazing, right? Very incredible costumes. A special happening. Something special that happens, we call it an event. Okay? For example, the Olympics every 4 years. That is an event. Sometimes there will be a festival in different cities, in Venice or New Orleans. They will be events, right? A parade in Seoul is an event. Anything that happens that's special, it's an event. There's so many events happening all the time. Even in Seoul, even in your town, probably there are many events. Last one, number 16, the ability to do difficult things. Wow! Can you believe it? Is it real? Is it true? I think it's trick photography. Unless maybe he's Bruce Willis, then it's true. No, I'm just kidding. The ability to do difficult things, strength. If somebody has a lot of strength, they have the ability to do difficult things. I don't think this is real. It's a trick photography. But think about it. If you can lift a lot of things, if you can pick up a very heavy weight, you have a lot of strength. Okay, so those are the words we need to know for the reading. Let's make sure we remember those words. Let's take a little short quiz on some of those words. Choose the word that best completes the sentence. Here are the words. We need to fill in the blanks with the best word. Okay? Number 1, you need to beep your English if you want to get better. We talked about this. It's not just English. It could be practicing a musical instrument like the piano, the trumpet, or whatever. What do you need to do? Do you need to define? Do you need to become? Do you need to practice, or do you need to skill? Well, skill right away, we see that's a noun. That doesn't make sense. Define, become, practice, those are verbs, and they would fit with to, right? To, we need a verb. But define, become, practice, if you want to get better at something, you need to do it again and again. You need to practice, right? You need to practice your English if you want to get better. You need to practice playing soccer if you want to get better at playing soccer. You need to practice playing the piano if you want to be a better piano player. Okay, so practice. You need to do something. You need to practice if you want to get better. Okay, number 2. I need to beep my homework before I can go to the movies. I need to what my homework? What do you do with your homework that you want to do? You want to get it done, right? So do you want to put your homework? Do you want to become? You want to become my homework. I want to become a book. That's crazy. I want to drop my homework, or I want to complete my homework. What makes sense? Well, obviously, if you looked at complete, that's the one that makes sense. Complete means finish. I want to complete my homework. I want to finish my homework before I can go to the movies. Not put, not become, and not drop. Drop your homework. Let's go upstairs and drop it from the roof. No, don't do that, okay? That's not a good idea. You want to complete your homework before you can go to the movies. Okay, next one. 3. You're so good at basketball. Oh, baseball. Sorry, baseball. You're so good. That means, 잘해요, right? You're so good at it, right? You should be a professional what? If a person plays a sport, especially for their job, they get paid for it. They are professional. And they are playing a sport and they're getting paid for it. What do we call that job? Doctor, lawyer, engineer, or what? Skill, train, athlete, event. Which one of these words is a description of an actual job? Well, of course, C. An athlete is a description of a particular job. An athlete is someone who plays a sport. A professional athlete is someone who plays a sport and gets money for it. Right? You think about it, that's crazy, right? Somebody gets paid for throwing a ball or running fast. Well, in our society, it's true. Some people get paid a lot of money to play these games. Like, for example, think of Tiger Woods. He gets millions of dollars for playing golf. Sounds like a dream job, right? But of course, they have a lot of talent, they have a lot of skill, and they've worked very hard to attain that skill. Okay, number 4. In a few days, the seed will beep a plant. So again, a seed, of course, is like an apple seed or some other part of the plant that you put in the ground, and then after a while, it eventually grows into a plant, right? So first you have a seed, later you have a plant, right? What happens to the seed? It what? It completes, it becomes, it eventually, or it guides. Of course, we know the answer. Oops. The answer is become. In a few days, the seed will become a plant. So it will change from one thing to another thing. It will become a plant. Okay, so let's move on to number 5. That beep is too great. No one could ever swim that far. Okay, so we kind of know the answer right here. If you're looking at, wow, there's an island out there, be careful, it's very far away, right? That what is too great? That event, that guide, that incredible, or that distance is too great. Remember, the measurement from point A here to point B over there, we're talking about distance. So we say that distance is too great. The distance is too great. No one could ever swim that far. The distance is too great. So the right answer is distance. 6, your English. Beep has improved a lot. All that practice has paid off. So again, we're kind of talking about that idea again, practice. You practice something a lot to improve. What do you want to improve? You improve your ability at something. What is ability? Skill, repeat, grow, or learn. Did you say skill? Then you would be correct, because skill is ability. You practice a skill to become better at it. Your English skill has improved a lot. All that practice has paid off. Practice has paid off means you practiced a lot, so you got the reward. You were successful, right? If something is successful, it has paid off. You were successful. Okay, number 7. Beep, I will start eating better, just not right now. So not right now, not now. Some other time, later. What does that mean? What word within the blank? A, usually I will start eating better. Usually I will start eating better? That doesn't make sense, because usually is for things that happen habitually. So we don't use future tense with usually. Completely, I will start eating better? That doesn't make sense. Suddenly, I will start eating better? That's isanghale. Eventually, eventually, not right now, but later. So eventually is the answer. Eventually, not now, but after some time, eventually, I will start eating better. A lot of us, we're sometimes lazy, so we say, oh, eventually I'll do it. I'll do it eventually, okay? But not right now, okay? Maybe you should start right now. If you want to do something, do it now. Don't wait for eventually, do it now. Okay, 8. A or and beep meal will keep you healthy. When we talk about eating, we have to eat certain things, right? Different things. We have to eat a certain amount of carbohydrates, or bread and potatoes and rice, right? We have to eat a certain amount of protein, like in meat. We have to eat a certain amount of, we have to drink a certain amount of other things like milk or cheese, dairy products, okay? So we have to make sure we eat all these things and in the right parts, right? So what kind of meal should we have? All meat? No, we need meat, vegetables, something to drink. We need a what kind of meal? A balanced meal, a sugary meal, an exercise meal, or an energy meal? Well, right away, we know sugary meal will not keep us healthy. That's got too much sugar in it. An exercise meal doesn't make sense because we're looking for an adjective, right? Something to modify meal. Exercise is not an adjective. And energy is an adjective. And an energy meal, but that doesn't sound right. That doesn't make sense. What we're looking for is balanced. A balanced meal. A balanced meal has the right amount of each food group, and you eat it. And it's good for you because it's balanced. You get enough protein, you get enough carbohydrates, you get enough vitamins and minerals. It's a balanced meal, and it keeps you healthy. Not too much sugar, right? Maybe a little sugar is okay, but not too much. You need to eat the things in balance. Okay, well, that wraps up the vocabulary section. Let's take a short break here, and we'll come back and look at the reading, how to become a great athlete. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Are you ready to start with the reading? Let's take a look. The title, of course, is The Human Machine. Human beings are like machines, especially athletes, right? They look like machines when they're running or they're swimming. They work so tirelessly and they work so well. Well, did you watch the 2008 Olympics in Beijing? So this reading starts with a question and is kind of giving an example of athletes, of good athletes. Of course, the 2008 Olympics in Beijing, kind of recent. We can see many examples of human machines at work. Athletes amazed us with their skills and strength. Olympic athletes are the best in the world. Could you win an Olympic event? Could you win an Olympic event? Maybe you'll say no, but don't say no yet. Don't say no yet, right? You have a lot of time. You have your life ahead of you, right? So what this passage is doing, it's introducing us to the topic. First of all, the topic is not the Olympics. The topic is, can you become an athlete, right? Athletes in the Olympics can amaze us. They have amazing skill and ability. So we can ask ourselves, can we do something like that? Maybe some of us will say, no, we can't. That's too hard. But don't say no yet. Why? Well, let's take a look. Let's read more. The human body can do some incredible things. It just needs to learn in the right way. Even you could be an Olympic athlete someday. So even you can become an Olympic athlete someday. What this part tells us is that the human body, we all have human bodies, of course. If you're listening to me and you understand what I'm saying, you have a human body. You are human, right? And your body can do some incredible things. It just needs to learn what to do. And you're young, so you have lots of time. You can learn, you can train your body, you can practice. And through practice, your body learns in the right way how to perform in incredible ways, right? If you start running right now, right, you will develop your running skill. If you start swimming right now, you will develop your swimming skill. If you have a good coach who teaches you how to swim correctly or how to ice skate correctly, then your body can learn in the right way so that even you can become an Olympic athlete someday. It's something you might consider. Right? So that's something to think about. Some people can jump very high. Other people can run very long distances without stopping. Others can juggle many things at once. They couldn't always do these things. They had to train very hard. So what this tells us is that different people have different skills. Maybe you say, well, I can't swim that well. I can't swim like the famous athlete, right? But maybe you can run. There's something that you can do well that more than many other people. What is it? Maybe it's running. Maybe it's throwing. Maybe it's golfing. Maybe it's playing tennis. Who knows? What is your skill? What are you good at? Right? So maybe it's jumping very high, maybe it's running very long distances, maybe it's even juggling, right? But the thing is, whatever your skill is, whatever you're good at, you have to develop that skill. Because when you look at people now who can jump high, people who can run long distances without stopping, they couldn't always do these things. They had to train very hard. So if you think you're a good runner, right? Train hard and you become a better runner. If you think, oh, I like to juggle, well, train hard and you can become a better juggler. Okay, next one. Our muscles learn when we exercise. That's an interesting idea. It's not just your brain that learns when you study a book. It's your muscles learn when you exercise. Your muscles remember. It's kind of strange to think about because your muscles don't have brains, right? But your muscles remember the actions. It becomes like a reflex. and they remember the motions that you're doing when you exercise. It's like learning English. To learn a language, you repeat the same thing many times. To learn a sport, you make your body do the same thing many times, so it becomes like a reflex. If you play sports and you do those things many times, your muscles, it's kind of like your muscles remember those motions, and so they can do them much more easily and much more naturally without a lot of energy, and people become very good at playing sports or doing that type of exercise. Next one. Eventually, your muscles know it so well, you could do it in your sleep. We'll talk about that. A runner will run every day. A swimmer will swim every day. So, coming back to eventually, after a long time, after a lot of practice, eventually, your muscles know it. What is it? The action, the performance. Like maybe it's throwing a basketball, or maybe it's pitching a baseball, or maybe it's swinging a bat. Your muscles will remember. If you do it a lot, eventually, after some time, your muscles will know that action so well, you could do it in your sleep. This is an idiom, do it in your sleep. It means you know something so well. You've done it so many times, it's very easy. You don't even have to think about it. You could be sleeping and do it because you've done it so many times, you know it really well. That's a good idiom. Oh, I know that so well, I could do it in my sleep. Not really, right? When you're sleeping, you're sleeping. But it's an idea that I know it so well, it doesn't take a lot of thought. I don't need to think about it, I can just do it. So, a runner will run every day, practice. A swimmer will swim every day. Eventually, they can do it so they don't even have to think about it, they just do it. Okay? Next, an athlete needs to practice hard and often to become great. This isn't all though. An athlete must also eat right. Okay? So basically, two things that we need to do here if we want to become a good athlete. First, we need to practice hard and often. Lots of practice. Practice hard means put a lot of effort, a lot of energy into practice, and also often, every day, right? You can't say, oh, I'll practice next week. I want to play video games now. No, you have to practice every day. That's not all. That's only one thing. The other thing is you have to eat right. What does that mean? You have to eat right? Is there a meal called right that you eat? No. In this case, you have to eat right means you have to eat well. You have to eat the correct things. So you have to eat right. You have to play right. You have to study right. Means doing the proper ways, right? Doing those things in the proper way. You have to eat in the proper ways. Look at this guy out in the front, right? He's out in front. All the other people are behind him. Let's take a look and see what happens, okay? Well, look at him go. Look at him go. He's like a machine running along. He's way in front. Look at that. He's going really fast. There's nobody behind him. Where are they? Where'd they? Oh, there they are, right? After a long time, right? He's a great athlete, right? He probably trained very hard, but he also probably has a lot of ability, a lot of skill. So he's a really good athlete, right? So to be able to beat the other players or the other runners by such a large distance, that's really amazing. Okay, well, of course he probably had a good breakfast that morning. We're talking about eating right, right? Food gives us energy. Different foods do different things for our body. Foods like bread, rice, and cereal give us energy that we can use for a long time. So again, this is coming back to eating right. If we want to have that kind of energy to win the race that we just saw, we need energy. And we need different foods. Remember we talked about balanced meal, right? You can't just eat all meat. You can't just eat all rice or potatoes, carbohydrates. You have to have a balance of these different things. Foods like bread, rice, and cereal give us energy that we use for a long time. So certain foods give us energy for a long time, okay? Sugary foods like candy, fruit, and juice give us energy that we use quickly, okay? So these two kind of paragraphs, these two passages show us different types of food and what they do for our bodies, right? Bread, rice, cereals give us energy that we can use for a very long time. That energy lasts for a long time. But sugary foods like fruit, candy especially, gives us energy, but it's gone very quickly. Okay, so we got to be careful, right? Vitamins is another type of thing that we get from our food. They help keep our bodies balanced so that we stay healthy, right? So vitamins help keep our bodies balanced, help us fight disease. It helps make our bones and our muscles strong. Vitamins will do that for our bodies, and so that we can stay healthy, that we don't get sick or we don't get injured easily. Okay, the last and most important thing is sleep. Your muscles need sleep to grow. Your brain needs sleep to stay balanced. A strong athlete sleeps at least 8 hours a night. 8 hours a night is the common or most standard time to sleep. So we've seen a lot of different things. We've seen that you need to practice, right? You need to eat right. And finally, you need to sleep. People sometimes don't realize that. They think, no, I'll train really hard and I just eat right, and then they forget about sleeping correctly. But sleep is very important because when you're sleeping, your muscles are growing, right? Your mind may be asleep, not aware of what's going on, but your body continues to function. Your body is like recharging, and it's still growing as you sleep, and your muscles are using that time to grow. Your brain needs sleep to stay balanced. If you stay up all the time, you'll be unbalanced. You'll go crazy, right? You need to have some balance, so you need to sleep. So a strong athlete sleeps at least 8 hours a night. If you want to be a strong athlete, get to sleep, get at least 8 hours of sleep a night. And actually that's pretty good anyway. Even if you're not an athlete, try to get that amount of sleep. It's good for you, it's healthy. So there you have it. A complete guide to becoming an Olympic athlete. Train hard, eat right, and sleep well. Does it seem simple? Okay, so this is interesting. This is a kind of a common expression. So there you have it. It's kind of like summarizing. We're summarizing everything we've just talked about. So there you have it. A complete guide to becoming an Olympic athlete. This entire passage is kind of like a guide. How can you train your body to become like an Olympic athlete? How can you train yourself that well? Well, summarize 3 things we talked about. Train hard, practice a lot. Eat right, eat the correct foods, and sleep well, at least 8 hours a night. Okay? Does it seem simple? Leaves you with a question here. Okay? So the question is, does it sound simple? It is. It is simple, but it's not easy. Okay? Excuse me. Olympic athletes train their bodies harder than anybody else in the world. Do you think you could work that hard? Okay, another question. Okay, so the first question is, does it sound simple? It is. It's only 3 things we have to think about, but it's not easy. It's simple, but not easy, because we have to put a lot of effort into it. Olympic athletes train their bodies harder than anybody else in the world. They have to train harder. They have to put more effort than anybody else in the world into their training to become the best in the world. So, do you think you could work that hard? Do you think you could? If you think you could, then follow that formula, right? And then maybe you can become an Olympic athlete someday. And even if you don't win a gold medal, the effort that you put into training is reward enough, really, because it will be a very rewarding experience for you. Okay, well that wraps up the passage. Let's review with comprehension questions. So again, this story is about beep. Of course, always the first question is, what is the overall theme or subject of the reading passage? Is it about how hard athletes train, how athletes sleep, how athletes eat, or how to become a great athlete? Well, we're probably going to pick D, right? Because D is about A, B, and C all together, right? D is about all of them, A, B, and C. And that's what this passage was about, right? It was talking about how hard athletes train, how athletes should eat, and how athletes should sleep. Those are the 3 things that great athletes must do. It's all of them, not just one, but all of them. So D is how to become a great athlete. It's all of them. Okay, so when we talk about the overall idea of the story, this story is about how to become a great athlete. It's all of those things. Okay, so number 2. A great athlete will what? What will a great athlete do? Sleep all day? Practice hard? Eat lots of sugary food? Or D, practice sleeping? So what we have to look at here is a lot of these answers are not correct, or they're wrong answers, right? There's only one answer that's correct, that's right. A great athlete will sleep all day? No. We only have 8 hours of sleep. If you sleep all day, you're not practicing, right? So a great athlete doesn't sleep all day. Does a great athlete practice hard? Yes, a great athlete does practice hard. Let's continue though. Does a great athlete eat lots of sugary food? No, because that's not a balanced diet. Does a great athlete practice sleeping? You have to practice sleeping? No, we're naturally good at sleeping. We don't have to practice that. Okay? So the answer, a great athlete will practice hard because that's what a great athlete will do. Train hard, eat right, sleep well. But the only one here that is correct, or one of those, is B, practice hard. Okay? The other ones are not correct. 3, it's important to beep well so that your body stays beep. Oh, we have 2 blanks here. Of course, we have the first and the second one. So it's important to train well so that your body stays exercise. Your body stays exercise? That doesn't make sense. Remember, one of the words might fit in the blank and make sense, but both words have to fit. In this case, train could fit. It's important to train well. That is okay. That's a good sentence. But the second word doesn't fit. Your body stays exercise. That's not correct. So remember, in this type of problem, both words have to be correct. Not just one word, both words. Okay. Number B, it's important to sleep well, that sounds good, so that your body stays grown. Your body stays grown? That doesn't make sense either. That's incorrect. So B is right. Sleep is okay. It's important to sleep well. That's good, but grown doesn't fit. Remember, both words have to fit. C, it's important to eat well so that your body stays balanced. Okay, so that one, eat well is good. It's important to eat well, and that's true, so that your body stays balanced. Your body stays in balance. That's okay. So C is the right answer. Let's just look at D. It's important to exercise well. That's also okay. It's important to exercise well. Yes, it is. So that your body stays sleepy. That doesn't make sense either. So we see actually that, it's kind of tricky. It's a tricky one because A, B, and D, the first word is okay. It could fit, but the second word in each doesn't work. So it has to be both words. The only one where both words work is C, eat and balanced. Both of those words are okay in the blanks, so that's the right answer. Okay, number 4, we get beep energy from bread. We talked about bread, rice, and cereal, right? What did they say about those foods? We get quick energy, we get fast energy, we get short-term energy, or we get long-term energy. If we look at these answers here, we see that A, B, and C are all the same. Quick, fast, short-term, they all mean the same thing, right? They all can't be the answer, right? And besides, they're wrong because remember, when we talked about bread, we said the energy you get from bread lasts a long time. That's long term. The answer is D. We get long-term energy from bread, not quick, fast, or short-term, right? A, B, and C mean all the same thing, but they're not correct. The correct one is D. We get long-term energy from bread. Okay, so let's summarize here. How to become an athlete, how to be a great athlete. If you want to become a great Olympic athlete, remember 3 things. It's simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. Remember these 3 things. 1, our muscles learn when we exercise. So when we exercise, our muscles remember those movements. So train hard, practice a lot. 2, food gives us energy. So we need to eat right because certain foods give us proper energy. We need to eat foods that give us long-term energy, like bread, like rice, like cereals. So we need to eat right. And 3, the last and most important thing is sleep. When we sleep, when we get 8 hours of sleep a night, our muscles have time to grow. Our brain stays balanced. Our body stays in a good state. We don't get worn down. We have a chance to recover. So these 3 things, they sound simple, right? Just train hard, teach your muscles what to do. 2, eat right. 3, sleep well. Those are simple things, but they're not easy. It takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of effort and enthusiasm to make sure you do these things every day and very well. And if you do it and you're the best in the world, then you can become a successful Olympic athlete. But even if you're not going to become an Olympic athlete, it's still a good thing to do these things because it makes you feel better and it helps you to enjoy life more. And that's what we really want to do, isn't it? So practice these ways, and even if you don't become an Olympic athlete, you will still have a much healthier and happier life. Okay, well that wraps up this lesson. We'll see you guys again next time. Take care, everybody.